I F-24 need to get this out. I know what I did was maybe extreme, maybe crossed a line, but when I tell you what led up to it, I don't know. Maybe you'll understand. Maybe you'll think I'm the asshole here. Honestly, part of me doesn't care anymore. He deserved it. Every last bit of it. This involves my brother, Scott. M26, fake name, obviously. To understand Scott, you have to understand my family dynamic. Scott is the golden child. Always has been. He can do no wrong in my parents' eyes. He's charming, sure, if you like the kind of charm that feels like it's trying to sell you something you don't need. He coasts through life on easy smiles and other people's efforts, mostly mine or my parents'. I'm the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who cleans up his messes and gets told to be the bigger person. Scott has always had this streak, this thing he calls pranks. They're not funny pranks, like putting a whoopee cushion on a chair. They're cruel. They're designed to hurt or humiliate, specifically me. Like the time in high school when I spent 3 months pouring my soul into a massive history project, the kind that counted for like half our grade. The night before it was due, Scott decided it would be hilarious to improve my painstakingly built diorama of the Battle of Hastings with neon green paint and glitter glue, adding little army men riding dinosaurs. He claimed he thought it needed more pizzazz. I failed the project. My parents told me I was overreacting and should have kept it somewhere safer if it was so important. Scott got grounded from video games for a weekend. That's Scott. That's my family. Always minimizing his behavior, always making me the bad guy for being upset. Fast forward to last year. I'm finally in a good place. I have a wonderful partner, Matthew, M25, and we have our amazing daughter, Mia, F4. Life isn't perfect, but it's ours, and it's stable. Scott, meanwhile, is engaged to Lauren, F25. Lauren's nice, genuinely. A bit quiet, maybe easily impressed by Scott's whole act, but fundamentally a good person. I sometimes wondered if she saw the real him, the one lurking under the surface. The big event coming up was the massive family reunion and Christmas bash back in our home state. It's a huge deal, happens every 5 years. I hadn't been back for one since before Mia was born. This year was supposed to be special. It was going to be the first time Matthew and Mia met the whole extended family. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. Mia was vibrating with excitement. She'd been practicing saying hello to Great Aunt Eleanor for weeks and picked out a special sparkly dress. Matthew, who doesn't have much family of his own, was really looking forward to being part of this big, chaotic gathering I always talked about. It mattered. It felt like a real milestone for us as a little family unit, because Scott still lived near my parents and was the organizer. My mom organized, he took credit. He was booking the flights using family points or whatever deal he'd found. I sent him the money for our share months in advance. Everything seemed fine. He confirmed our seats, sent the itinerary. We packed, triple-checked Mia's bag for her favorite stuffed bunny, coordinated arrival times with my parents. The excitement was palpable. Mia sang songs about airplanes all week. Matthew kept asking questions about distant cousins he was about to meet. For the first time in a long time, I felt genuinely happy about going home. The day arrives. We're at the airport bright and early. It's that pre-dawn chaos, people shuffling, the smell of coffee and stress. Mia is bouncing in her little travel t-shirt, clutching Matthew's hand. We get to the check-in counter, tired but smiling. I hand over our IDs. The agent types, frowns, types some more. "I'm sorry," she says, looking up with that practiced sympathy that never feels real. "I don't see a reservation under this name for this flight." My stomach drops. What? No, that can't be right. It's under my last name, booked by Scott, my last name. I show her the confirmation email Scott sent me, the one with the flight numbers and seat assignments. She types again, shakes her head. "This reservation number, it was canceled 2 days ago." Canceled? By who? There must be a mistake. My voice is starting to shake. Matthew puts a hand on my arm. Mia looks up, sensing the tension. The agent taps a few more keys. "It looks like it was canceled online by the original purchaser. We sent an email notification to the address on file." Scott's email address, of course. Not mine. My blood runs cold. "The original purchaser?" "Yes. Scott. My last name." I just stare at her. Canceled. 2 days ago. No warning, no call, no text. Just canceled. My mind is racing. Why? How? It had to be a mistake. A horrible, stupid mistake. Can we rebook?" Matthew asks, his voice tight. "Are there any seats left?" The agent gives us the bad news. The flight is completely full. The next flight with available seats isn't until tomorrow night, and the cost is astronomical, more than double what we originally paid, money we absolutely did not have just lying around, especially right before Christmas. There was no way. We step away from the counter, numb. Mia starts to cry, understanding now that something is very wrong, that the exciting airplane trip isn't happening. Why no airplane, Mommy? I want to see Grandma. Her little face crumpling just broke me. Matthew is trying to soothe her, but his jaw is clenched. He looks at me, helpless and angry on my behalf. People are staring. I feel this hot wave of humiliation wash over me, stranded at the airport, with my crying child and my partner who was supposed to meet my entire family today. All because of Scott. I whip out my phone, hands shaking, and call him. Straight to voicemail. Of course. I try again. Voicemail. I send a text. Scott, call me now. What the hell happened to our flight? Minutes crawl by. No response. Mia is sobbing properly now. Matthew finally manages to calm her down a little, suggesting we get some breakfast while Mommy figures things out. We find a sad airport cafe table. I keep calling Scott. Nothing. Finally, maybe an hour later, he texts back, "Hey sis, what's up? Stuck in meetings, lol." I see red. I call him again, and this time, miraculously, he answers. He sounds breezy, cheerful, like nothing is wrong. "Scott," I say, my voice low and shaking with fury, "where are our plane tickets?" "Tickets? What tickets?" "Oh, the flight. Yeah, what about it?" He sounds genuinely confused. Or maybe it's just his expert-level gaslighting kicking in. "Scott, they were canceled. The airline said you canceled them 2 days ago. We're stuck at the airport. Mia is crying her eyes out. We're going to miss the entire reunion kickoff tonight. What the hell is going on?" There's a pause. Then he bursts out laughing. Actual laughter. "Oh my God, no way. You actually went to the airport? That's hilarious. Gotcha." I feel the blood drain from my face. "Gotcha? What are you talking about? This isn't funny, Scott." "Dude, lighten up. It was just a prank. I figured you'd call yesterday when you got the cancellation email, we'd have a laugh, and I'd rebook you. Obviously, I wasn't really going to make you miss Christmas. Where's your sense of humor? A prank." He thought stranding me, my partner, and my 4-year-old daughter hundreds of miles from home, ruining the first chance for them to meet our entire family, was a prank. A joke. The sheer callousness of it steals my breath. A sense of humor? Scott, Mia is devastated. Matthew, as we planned this for months. You think this is funny? You didn't rebook anything, did you? There are no flights. It costs a fortune. My voice is rising, trembling. "Whoa, calm down," he says, his tone shifting instantly from fake joviality to annoyance. "Seriously? It's just a flight, dude. Relax. You're making such a big deal out of nothing. You can come next time. Stop being so dramatic. Just a flight. Just my daughter's tears. Just my partner's disappointment. Just the money wasted. Just another one of Scott's pranks that I'm supposed to just swallow and pretend is funny. You didn't even think, did you?" I whisper, the anger turning into something cold and hard. "You didn't think about Mia. You didn't think about Matthew. You didn't think about anything except getting a laugh at my expense. Again. Whatever," he scoffs. "Look, I gotta go. Stop freaking out over nothing. Talk later." And he hangs up. I stare at my phone. Numbness gives way to a slow-burning rage unlike anything I've felt before. Matthew just looks at me, his expression grim. He heard Scott's side through the phone. He gets it. He knows this wasn't just a mistake. This was deliberate. This was Scott being Scott. We ended up renting a car, a ridiculous expense, and driving the 12 hours back home. Mia cried herself to sleep in the back seat. Matthew drove most of the way, white-knuckled, while I just stared out the window, replaying Scott's laughter, his dismissal, over and over again. Gotcha. When we finally got home, exhausted and emotionally drained, I called my parents. I told them what happened, exactly what Scott said. Their response? Predictable, disappointing, infuriating. "Oh, honey, you know Scott." My mom sighed. "He doesn't mean anything by it. He probably just thought it was funny. Don't make such a big thing out of it. The important thing is everyone stays calm. We don't want any drama at Christmas." My dad mumbled something about boys being boys, and Scott probably feeling bad already. They didn't offer to help with the cost of the rental car. They didn't chew Scott out. They just wanted it to go away. They wanted me to smooth it over, to pretend it didn't happen, to not rock the boat. Just like always. I felt utterly alone, betrayed by my brother, abandoned by my parents. Matthew was supportive, furious on my behalf, but he couldn't fix the core problem. My family was broken, and Scott was the one holding the hammer, and everyone else just kept handing him nails. The next few months were cold. I went low contact with Scott and my parents. Texts went unanswered. Calls were kept brief and superficial. Scott acted like absolutely nothing had happened. He'd send cheerful group texts about football or ask if I saw some stupid meme. Lauren would text occasionally, asking if everything was okay, and I'd give non-committal answers. I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth about Scott, not yet. It felt complicated, Like it wasn't my place, but also like I was shielding her from the inevitable hurt he'd eventually cause her too. The anger didn't fade. It simmered. It became this hard, cold knot in my stomach. Every time Mia asked about Grandma and Grandpa, every time I thought about the money we wasted, every time Scott posted some smug picture on social media acting like the perfect son or fiancé, it just twisted tighter. I knew I couldn't just let it go, not this time. This wasn't glitter glue on a project. This was different. This was my child, my partner, my family. He didn't get to just walk away laughing this time. Then, about 4 months after the flight incident, came the slip-up. I was talking to a mutual friend, someone who knew both Scott and me but wasn't super close to either, catching up about random stuff. She mentioned running into Scott the other week. "Oh yeah?" I said, keeping my tone neutral. "Whereabouts?" "Down in trendy neighborhood across town," she said. "He was with that girl, Paige, at that new wine bar. They looked super cozy." Paige? I didn't know any Paige associated with Scott. He was supposed to be at a work conference that entire week, according to what he told Lauren, and posted about vaguely online. The wine bar wasn't anywhere near the conference center. "Paige?" I repeated, trying to sound casual. "Don't think I know her." "Oh, really?" The friend sounded surprised. "Dark hair? Kinda artsy?" He seemed really into her. I just assumed she was a friend of Lauren's or something. My mind started racing. Artsy? Cozy? Wrong side of town during a work conference? It felt off. Really off. That night I did something I'm not proud of, but I don't regret it. Fueled by suspicion, I did some digging. Nothing illegal, just observant. I remembered the friend mentioning the wine bar's name. I checked their tagged photos on Instagram, and there it was. A picture someone had posted from that night, background blurry, but clear enough. Scott. Arm draped around a dark-haired woman, laughing, leaning in close. Her face was turned slightly, but I could see her profile. The caption was innocuous, something about girls' night, but Scott was clearly visible in the background with this woman. I clicked on the tagger's profile, then looked through her friends list. It took maybe 20 minutes of careful scrolling through public profiles, cross-referencing photos. But I found her. Paige, last name, artsy, just like the friend said. And definitely not just a friend. Her posts hinted at a relationship, vague pictures of hands intertwined, gifts received, complaints about her guy being complicated. Nothing naming Scott directly, but the timeline matched his business trips and weird excuses too perfectly. The final confirmation came from Scott himself, indirectly. He had an old shared cloud account we sometimes used for family photos years ago. I logged in, morbidly curious. He hadn't used it much lately, but there were some recent auto-uploads from his phone he must have forgotten about. Tucked away in a folder mislabeled Receipts were photos. Photos of him and Paige at the beach, cooking dinner together, kissing. The dates lined up exactly with times he was supposed to be working late or away on business. There it was. Undeniable proof. My golden child brother, the charming fiancé, was leading a double life, cheating on sweet, unsuspecting Lauren with this woman, Paige. And then I found her address. It was surprisingly easy, linked from an old Etsy store she ran, listed on a public event RSVP, saved it. Didn't know why yet. Just saved it. A new kind of anger started bubbling up alongside the old resentment. It wasn't just about the flight anymore. It was about his lies, his manipulation, the way he treated people like they were disposable, the way he was going to break Lauren's heart. I sat on this information for a few weeks, stewing, wondering what to do. Tell Lauren? Confront Scott? Burn it all down? The rage was there, but it needed a focus, a vector. Then Scott provided it himself. He called me one afternoon, sounding stressed. "Hey, so, you know Lauren and I are moving next month? It's chaos, total nightmare." "Oh, yeah?" I kept my voice flat. "Yeah, the new place is great, but packing is killing me, and I've got all this old crap in that storage unit near Mom and Dad's place. It's got to be cleared out before the end of the month." He sighed dramatically. "You're so good at organizing stuff. I was wondering, any chance you could give me a hand sorting through that storage unit next weekend? I'd owe you big time." My mind flashed. The storage unit. An opportunity to maybe see more, learn more, or maybe plant something later. Maybe, I said, non-committally. "Depends on Matthew's schedule." "Awesome, thanks. Let me know." He sounded relieved. Then he added, almost as an afterthought, "Dude, moving companies are insane. Such a headache." He continued complaining about quotes and scheduling for a few minutes. I just listened, a cold little spark starting deep inside me. We went to the storage unit the following Saturday. It was as tedious as expected. Old furniture, boxes of college textbooks, junk he couldn't be bothered to deal with, As we sorted, Scott kept complaining about the move. Seriously? The logistics are a nightmare, he moaned, dropping a heavy box-scotted kitchen at my feet. Lauren's got that bridal shower thingy the same weekend as the move, and I have this unavoidable work summit I have to be at on the Saturday morning. We literally have no one to be at the new apartment when the movers arrive. It's so stressful. He looked at me, pausing, that manipulative charm flickering in his eyes. You wouldn't happen to be free that Saturday morning, would you? Just to, meet the movers at the new place. Make sure they unload, okay? Lauren would kill me if her grandmother's antique vase got broken. He laughed weakly. I'd pay you back for your time, obviously. And there it was, handed to me on a silver platter. He wanted me to manage the movers, to be the point person, to handle the logistics he found so burdensome. A slow, cold smile spread across my face internally, while outwardly I frowned, pretending to think. Manage the movers? Scott, that's a lot of responsibility. I know, but I'm desperate. You're the only one I can trust to handle it right. Please, it would be a lifesaver. I looked at him, my golden child brother, completely oblivious, asking me, the sister whose crucial family trip he'd callously destroyed, to help him facilitate his move with the fiancée he was actively cheating on. The irony was thicker than the dust in that storage unit. Okay, Scott, I said slowly, the plan forming with chilling clarity in my mind. Okay, I'll do it. Send me the details of the moving company you booked. Oh, I haven't even booked one yet. It's too stressful, he whined. Could you maybe handle that too? Just pick a decent one? I'll send you the addresses and my credit card info. Seriously, you're the best, sis. The best. Right. I was going to be the best at making sure his move went exactly according to plan. My plan. Sure, Scott, I said, keeping my voice even. Send me everything. I'll take care of it. He beamed, clapping me on the shoulder. You're a lifesaver, seriously. I just nodded, my mind already racing, connecting dots. His old address, Lauren's new address, and Paige's address, tucked away safely in my phone. He wanted my help? Oh, I was going to help him all right. I was going to help him move right into the consequences of his own action. The cold knot in my stomach didn't disappear, but now it felt less like anger and more like potential energy waiting to be released. Scott sent over his credit card information, the pickup address, his current place, and the correct new address for him and Lauren almost immediately, along with a flurry of texts thanking me again for being such a lifesaver. I saved the addresses carefully, both of them. Finding the right moving company took a couple of days of careful research. I didn't want the cheapest, sketchiest option. That might raise red flags or seem too obviously sabotage. I also didn't want the most high-end, meticulously organized company. They might double-check addresses too carefully or have GPS tracking that Lauren could easily access. I needed plausible deniability. I settled on Company B, a mid-sized local outfit with decent reviews but a slightly chaotic online booking system, and mentions in reviews of occasionally mixed-up paperwork. Perfect. I told Scott I'd booked Company A, a well-known van line, just to throw him off if he ever mentioned the company name to anyone later. Using his credit card info, I booked Company B under his name. For the contact information, phone number and email, I used mine. All confirmations, all coordination calls would come directly to me. For the pickup address, I entered Scott's current apartment. For the delivery address, I carefully typed in Paige's address, triple-checking the street number and zip code I'd saved. The confirmation email arrived in my inbox moments later. It detailed the pickup, the destination, Paige's place, clearly listed, the estimated time, and Scott's name as the client. It also contained the standard boilerplate about the client being responsible for verifying all information. I took a screenshot, then carefully forwarded the text of the email to Scott, stripping out the header and any obvious branding from Company B. I strategically placed the delivery address line deep within a paragraph about estimated arrival times and insurance option. I sent it with a casual message. Hey, got the movers booked. Here's the confirmation sludge. Let me know if it looks okay. Bit confusing TBH. His reply came back quickly. Looks good. Thanks. You're the best. What would I do without you? Owe you big time. He clearly hadn't read it closely. Checkmate on plausible deniability. If he ever claimed I booked the wrong place, I had his text saying it looks good. The next step involved the storage unit, tucked away in a box labeled random crap. Accurate. Amongst old CDs and dusty cables, I found it. A single, cheap-looking silver hoop earring with a tiny, fake-looking blue stone. It wasn't mine, wasn't my mom's style, and definitely wasn't Lauren's. It matched the vaguely bohemian vibe of Paige's social media profile picture. I pocketed it. A week before the move, I went over to Scott and Lauren's place under the guise of helping them pack the last few boxes. Lauren was stressed but grateful for the help, Scott was mostly directing traffic and complaining, while Lauren was busy taping up a box of kitchenware, and Scott was on the phone arguing with the cable company. I found the earring on the floor near where the boxes from the storage unit had been temporarily stacked. I picked it up, frowned at it, and then, making sure neither of them was looking directly at me, casually placed it on the edge of Lauren's open jewelry box, sitting on the dresser as if it had fallen out. Just another piece of random clutter in the chaos of packing. A tiny seed of unease. Maybe she wouldn't even notice it until later. Maybe she'd assume it was hers, long lost. It didn't matter. It was planted. Move day dawned bright and clear. I woke up with a strange sense of calm, a cold certainty. Scott texted me early, frantic about whether the movers would be on time. I reassured him I'd confirmed everything with Company A. I didn't go to his old place. I didn't need to. I stayed home, phone fully charged, waiting. Around 9 a.m., my phone rang. Caller ID showed Company B's. Hi, this is crew chief name with Company B movers. Just confirming we're loaded up at Scott's old address and heading to the delivery address at Paige's full address. ETA about 45 minutes, depending on traffic. Sounds great, I said, keeping my voice level and pleasant. Thanks for the update. The client Scott should be expecting you. Got it? He hung up. The truck was on its way. Phase 1 of the detonation sequence was complete. I pictured Scott and Lauren at their new apartment, maybe unpacking a box of essentials, maybe arguing about where the couch should go, maybe even feeling a flicker of excitement about their new life together, waiting for the truck that would bring their furniture, their clothes, their life. The truck that was currently navigating its way across town to Paige's doorstep. Time ticked by. 45, an hour and 15 minutes. My phone rang again. This time the caller ID just showed Scott's. I let it ring 4 times, then answered, injecting a note of slight annoyance. Hey Scott, what's up? Silence for a garbled. Was that Lauren? You! His voice raw with, what did you do? Talking about. Did the movers not show up? I confirmed with them this morning. They showed up! He screamed. They showed up at the wrong address. They're at Paige's place. Paige's! How could you do this? Paige's name. I could almost hear Lauren's world shattering in the background. Paige's? I let my voice fill with, Scott, no, that's impossible. I booked it for the address you sent me. Are you sure they're not just lost? Lost? They sent me a picture. They unloaded half the truck onto her goddamn lawn. Lauren heard. Oh God. His voice broke, more incoherent shouting in the background. It sounded like Lauren was screaming at him now, accusations flying. Scott, that's awful, I said, pouring fake sympathy into my tone. Did you maybe transpose the numbers when you sent me the address? Let me check the email confirmation I forwarded you. I made tapping sounds on my keyboard for effect. Oh, wait, here it is. The one you replied, looks good to? Yeah, the delivery address here says Paige's address, plain as day. Scott, did you give me the wrong one? A strangled noise came down the phone line. He knew. He knew he hadn't read it. He knew he was caught, but he couldn't admit I'd outplayed him. This is your fault, he shrieked, resorting to pure blame. You set me up. You did this deliberately. Scott, why would I do that? I asked, my voice dangerously calm now. Maybe you should worry less about blaming me and more about cleaning up the mess you made. Both of them. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were steady. My heart rate was even. I felt quiet, vindicated. The phone started ringing again, almost instantly. Scott. I ignored it. Then a text message popped up. You bitch. You ruined my life. I didn't reply. Another text. Minutes later. Lauren kicked me out. Paige won't let me get my stuff. What am I supposed to do? Still no reply. Let him scramble. Let him feel the panic of having nowhere to go. No one to blame but himself, even though he'd never admit it. Later that evening, my phone rang again. An unknown number. I hesitated, then answered cautiously. It was Lauren. Her voice was wrecked, thin and exhausted. Not screaming anymore, just hollowed out. She didn't accuse me. She just asked very quietly, Did you know about Paige? I paused. Lying felt wrong now. Useless. I found out a few weeks ago, I admitted softly. A long silence, then a shaky sigh. That earring, in my jewelry box, was it hers? Yes, I said. Another pause. Thank you, she whispered and hung up. That single thank you hit harder than Scott's screaming. It wasn't thanks for the revenge. It was thanks for the truth, however brutally it arrived. The fallout over the next few days was relayed mostly through Scott's increasingly desperate texts, which I ignored, and eventually, a very awkward call from my mother. Scott was apparently couch surfing at a friend's place. Lauren had immediately broken the engagement, changed the locks on the new apartment, which was solely in her name, thankfully for her, and was refusing all contact with him. Paige, furious about the public spectacle and having her own life disrupted, had given Scott 24 hours to get his stuff off her property, or she was calling a junk removal service. He'd had to hire emergency movers at an exorbitant last-minute rate to haul everything to a storage unit, probably the same one I'd helped him clear out. My mother called, not to ask if I was okay or to acknowledge Scott's horrific behavior leading up to this, but to plead Scott's case. "Honey, I know you're upset about that little flight mix-up," she started, her voice wheedling. "But Scott is devastated. He made a mistake with this Page person, yes, but this moving company error, it's ruined everything. He thinks you might have done it on purpose. You wouldn't do that to your own brother, would you? He's family." "Mom," I said, my voice flat and cold. "Scott made his choices. The flight wasn't a mix-up, it was deliberate cruelty. The affair was a choice. Sending me the wrong address or not bothering to check the confirmation he approved, that sounds like another one of Scott's choices having consequences. I have nothing more to say about it." I ended the call before she could argue further. Family. Right. Weeks turned into a month. According to the occasional reluctant update gleaned from other relatives, who mostly still seemed to think Scott was the victim of a terrible accident and OP was being unfairly cold, Scott was a wreck. He was still trying to salvage his reputation, spinning wild tales about how I was jealous, how I'd always hated Lauren, how I'd somehow hacked the moving company. Few people seemed to be buying it entirely, especially after Lauren quietly started telling her side of the story to her friends and family, corroborating the cheating. He was apparently hemorrhaging money between the botched move, the emergency storage, and now likely needing a deposit for his own place. He hadn't found one yet. He was still trying to suck up to our parents, playing the victim card hard. I saw him once, unexpectedly, at a grocery store near my parents' house about 6 weeks after the move. He looked terrible, haggard, unshaven, like he hadn't slept properly in weeks. He saw me, and his face contorted into a mask of rage. He started walking towards me fast. I didn't flinch. I just stopped my cart and looked him dead in the eye. He stopped a few feet away, practically vibrating with anger. "You think you're so clever, don't you?" he hissed, keeping his voice low but venomous. I didn't say anything. I just held his gaze. "You ruined everything," he accused, voice trembling. "My engagement, my reputation." "No, Scott," I said finally, my voice quiet but carrying in the relative quiet of the aisle. "You did that all by yourself. Remember the flight? Remember Mia crying at the airport? Remember laughing about it?" His face went pale, then flushed red. He opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no comeback, because he knew it was true. "Guess those pranks aren't so funny when the joke's on you, huh?" I added, letting a small, cold smile touch my lips. He stared at me for a long moment, pure hatred in his eyes. Then he turned and practically fled down the aisle, abandoning his half-full basket. Watching him go, I didn't feel triumph exactly, not joy. Just a grim sense of balance. A heavy weight lifted. He'd finally faced a consequence he couldn't charm, manipulate, or blame his way out of. He'd built his life on lies and casual cruelty, and the foundations had crumbled. Maybe he'd learn. Probably not. But he wouldn't forget, and he sure as hell wouldn't be canceling any more of my family's flights. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.